Hi friends, this is Marilyn from tarotclarity.com again, and I'm doing something different. You usually just hear my voice, and I thought maybe you might like to put a face to the person who does these videos. So here I am. I received a wonderful package from Giordano Berti from Italy. I buy a lot of decks from Giordano, and within a week or so, I plan on doing a video on my collection of decks that I've purchased through Giordano. Certainly, he's among the most premier publisher of historic Italian decks in particular, which I love. They're my favorite decks. However, having said that, this particular deck is German. And it's a Besançon. I hope I'm saying it properly. That's how I say it in my own head. Now remember that this is in reverse, unfortunately. Here is the box, which is standard with Giordano Berti's decks. They're beautifully handcrafted with marbleized paper. And this deck, as I mentioned, is in the Besançon style. And I believe it's German. The deck, as always, comes in a lovely pouch. This particular one is gold with a sheen. A little card that tells us a little bit. This card, however, is written in Italian, so I can't readily read it. I'll have to do a little translation. And it tells us the number that I have, out of 900. And then there's a little stamp on the back, which, may be reproduction from somewhere, I don't know. And then a book, which is in English, Tarot in German Countries. And it's a lovely book. It is in English, and I will for sure read it, because whenever I read anything by Giordano, I always get a lot of information. And then a lovely handwritten note, and another little book. A generic book that Giordano sends. That's not particular to the deck, as this book is. But Giordano always sends, a little leaflet, a little simple white book, and also a detailed, booklet about the particular deck you bought. And again, a beautiful box. And it feels like it's lined in velvet. So... okay, but that's not what you're interested in. But that's what you can expect when you order a deck from Giordano. So I'm going to flip the camera so that we see the cards as they really are created, rather than if I hold them up, and you see them in reverse. That's not cool, right? So give me a second and I'll reverse the camera and you'll get to see how they really look. So I'm sorry, before you saw the card, you saw my messy paperwork over there. It's tax time. So that's what that's about. Okay, so here we have Les Bateliers. Notice the color, the richness of color already with the first card. The blues are just sumptuous. The greens. And because it is Besançon, remember that the Popes has been replaced with Juno. There's discussion about whether Juno was because they didn't want to offend the Protestants or the Catholics. But really, if it's a Protestant country, which Germany was, why would they want to see the Popes and the Pope, right? So they found substitutes. That's my thinking. The Empress. And you see on her shield probably a very specific reference to a specific court or castle. I don't know. I probably will know if I read the booklet, which I probably should have done before I did the video. And the Emperor. Again, very specific shield. And then Jupiter in place of the Pope, holding lightning or arrows that look like lightning to me. The Lover card. And here Cupid is blindfolded. Two women. The depiction here looks fairly typical of profane and sacred love. The choice between. Wow, this is lovely. The Chariot. We have the scalloped edge. So along with the blindfolded Cupid, it almost, there are remnants of type 1 TDM here. And this is 1780. So it's a little bit it's a little bit later. Justice, uneven scales. She's looking right at us. But, oh, these colors are just extraordinary. Oh, check out this guy, the Hermit. He kind of looks Asian, although he's wearing like little German outfit with suspenders, but he looks Asian, like with that mustache and the cap. That's interesting. Fortune's Wheel, or the Wheel of Fortune. We have a pig. To my seeing, there is no individual on the bottom. We have a gentleman cranking the wheel, and I presume this is Madame Fortune or Lady Fortuna. Fortitude. And she appears to be sitting on the beast, because one side of her garment is on this side of the beast and the other is over here. So it almost looks like she's seated on it. The Hanged Man. It's an interesting hand gesture. The 13th card, which is named on here. Interesting little kind of cap on his head. Wow, check out the Devil. So he has two minions which are tethered together with some kind of rope. They don't look human. They're hairy, apish looking kind of creatures. And the devil kind of looks feline. I mean, I don't know if those are whiskers, but it's interesting. I don't know if that's me or if that's what's really there. Feathers in his cap. Winged. The familiar tower of people falling and apparently being struck by lightning. The Star. Usually my favorite card in any deck. And this one has 7 stars. Check out this moon. Wow, beautiful. The Sun. Judgment. And the World. And in this deck, the Fool was put last, so I kept it there. And on the backs of each of the cards is that stamp. So I don't know. That doesn't look like a dog. I don't know what it is. Okay, the first suit that appears in this deck is the Ace of Coins, the suit of coins, the 2, and I presume the R must be the first initial of Miller. So what do you make of the colors? I love them. I think they're so rich, so present, you know. And then the quartz from the suit of coin. More correctly, denier. Look at his little body, his big up top, and then these tiny little legs. And I always love the Swiss influence of the Ace of Cups. It's always beautiful, right? It's different than the Piedmontese or the Tarot of Marseille. It's a different look. It's beautiful, though. I love it. It looks like there's some kind of diamond shape up top. I'm not sure what that is. And then the court cards from the suit of cups. The valet. He's holding his hat and a cup. The knight. The queen. And the king. The suit of batons. The blue baton. Look at that. That's interesting how that was done. This one was accidentally colored in, maybe. And these really, the way they're done, really, I would think I haven't read with them yet because I just now opened the package, but I think they would give really interesting pattern readings, you know, because they're different. And here we have the court cards from the suit of batons, the valet, the knight, the queen, and the king. And then the last suit that's presented in this deck is the suit of swords. How beautiful. So we have the scimitars. As we do in TDM. I noticed the 5 one way, right, the correct way, and then the other upside down way. I guess if you're holding it. But in the other cards, they put the numbers sideways. Or that way. Interesting. And then the suit, excuse me, and then the court cards from the suit of swords. So we have the valet, the knight, the queen, and then the king. As always, the card stock is beautiful. You know, I don't, riffle shuffle Berti's cards, so I can't speak on that. But I do overhand shuffle, and I've had a few decks for a few years, and I use them regularly, and they survive. So, and the backs are very pretty. So there you have it. I hope you enjoy it. It's a beautiful deck. If you're a collector and you have your preferences, like I prefer Italian, but I do like this. I do like seeing how, the Italian design translated once it got to France, and then translated again, moving on to Switzerland and Germany. I love seeing how different cultures represent the cards, So for that reason, I enjoy having different cards from different places in my collection. And this one particularly, I think, is lovely. So I'm happy to include it in my collection representing the Besançon. Again, it is the Tarot of Besançon by Miller, 1780, and it can be purchased through Giordano Berti. Until next time, stay well, friends. Peace.